you write a little bit about resistance, and pushback. Um, how do you deal with that in your organization? Because it's just going
Yeah,
to happen when you're putting in a process.
yeah. So there's all kinds of reasons for pushback. The two most common are change is hard, you go first, is the way I always like to say it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
one uh, in an entrepreneurial company, there's not a lot of waste. And so typically, if you've got 10 people in your company, Gene, my guess is 9.5 to 10 of you are pretty damn good at your job the way you do it right now. And if that isn't the case, you're not like the federal government. You don't have a lot of non-essential workers you can send home when
so
there's a
true.
budget argument, right?
So true.
So to get somebody who's pretty good at his or her job to change a habit is really hard. That's the
Yeah,
most obvious change aversion issue. The other thing, though, that needs to be talked about is we are talking about accountability. Okay. So if you are trying to grow and scale a company, there comes a time when the fact that you've got, if you're running a manufacturing business and you've got 10 machine cells run by 10 different team leaders, and the 10 of them have their own unique way of staffing and training and straightening up after a shift and count, you cannot scale with that kind of philosophy, even if all 10 of them produce consistently exceptional results.
sure.
And because now, when you're sharing one person from one cell to augment somebody who's out on another cell, all hell breaks loose. And so, what happens is clients underestimate how dangerous that, yeah, well, as long as Gene's getting great results, let's let Gene do it his
Yeah,
way. And so,
right.
that's
Right.
the other thing is everybody doing it their own way can't possibly work if you're trying to grow and scale your business. And then the last thing is nobody really wants to be held accountable every day.
Right.
If we could get away, I mean, the former CPA, you're counting utilization, realization, how many tax returns did you finish? This
Yep.
time of year, I should be very careful talking about that because there may be a lot of grumpy people out there listening to this podcast. But that is, man, it feels like there's a thumb on you, and that's a grind. And so leadership goes a long way towards helping with that. Can you lead in a way where your people understand that we're giving you data and coaching so that you can manage yourself,
Right.
so that you know what great looks like? And if you want to be great, this information and this process and these numbers are your tools to be great. It's like a downhill skier or a 100-yard dash runner who's constantly looking at their weight workouts and their training regimen and their times in all kinds of conditions and endeavoring on their own to get better.